Also, trying to do a wave, like the wave dance thing. How to Power a Punk Society Part 4. Because if I can't do anything but fuck up the intro, at least I can make the rest of the video fantastic. So, How to Power a Punk Society. To here, Part 4. This might be the final of the How to Power a Punk Society mini-series thing. And you just think, there's a bit of a catch. I just had the idea a few minutes ago. I haven't made an entire list of things that can power what I have in mind. However, I have a brief idea. That's good enough for something. Oh god. Is this video going to be that bad? These videos aren't all that bad, just being limited by the phone because the phone screen's cracked and the phone is bad. How to Power a British Society. For this I am thinking primarily of Britain put in the context or form of the countryside, but also a bit of the city, Britain as in general. Britain as a thing in general. But I'm really mainly thinking of the open grasslands, because those tend to be associated with environmentally friendly forms of energy here in Great Britain, because you have a lot of area for things that can make a society be powered. Obviously, as you think of how Britain has already been powered by environmentally friendly forms of energy because of all of our companies, you think Britain tends to be fond of those wind turbines. Britain seems to be fond of the occasional solar panel, even though it's like 6 fucking square meters. And on a roof that is like 7 square meters. These roofs are fucking retarded. The people who made these roofs, they did not have solar panels in mind when these were being constructed. Those Brits, they have a lot of open wilderness. Thus, Britain can be powered by biomass fuel. That is, biomass burnt or just biomass made into a fuel. Biomass just as itself, or biomass made into a fuel. Mr. Just has to be just moved. Here's the thing, as I've already fucking explained in these videos, biomass is the weakest energy option. A plant has 1% solar efficiency. An algae pond scum that can be made into a biofuel has 2% solar efficiency, but somehow acts like it has 40 or 50 or 60% solar efficiency. And a solar has 20. A solar panel has like 20. They used to have 10. So a solar panel is off the gate like 10 times. They are 10 times more powerful than a plant of that area. Fucking hell. God. So biomass has a lot of... Biomass is easy, as it's just a matter of making plants. Just double the amount of the farmland you have to feed your people. So you have a farmland for the food, accompanied by a farmland for the fuel. However, there's a bit more. The biomass, it has almost no energy per area, just 1% solar efficiency. And the plants can't survive winter because they would hibernate or something. And meanwhile, you have a solar panel that is 20 times more powerful. That also depends on the method, because solar panels 20, solar concentrated 25 or 44, solar thermal 35. That's not bad. Biomass, the biomass has to be off the table, period. Come on. So that leaves a few options that have not been disposed of, and those options are solar and the wind, and nuclear. And nuclear, you're thinking of uranium. That'll be touched up upon later. Yes, that'll be touched up on. For solar, obviously, solar thermal, because the solar thermal option, you have a tower being heated up by all these mirrors, all these little concentrated little mirrors that concentrate a lot of solar heat against a tank of a fluid such as liquid salt or a water, either liquid salt or water. 75% solar efficiency. That means it's approaching the solar efficiency of something that does not produce energy, a solar water heater. A solar water heater could still be used, but in terms of power being actually generated, then that's not an option. It's not bad. You could picture a person that lives in the British countryside, a little cottage, a sort of Arthur Dent of the 21st century, and this modern Arthur Dent, they wake up in the morning, they go to their kettle to have a bit of a good old Kappa tea. The heat for the water, it all comes from a solar water heater. Meanwhile, Arthur Dent of the 21st century has a look out of their window, and there's like a wind turbine, just full of wind. So that could be useful. You could have a solar water heater. That's powerful. That's not so bad, and it's resistant against all of the snow and ice of the winter. Then I mentioned a wind turbine. Yes, the wind. So you can have a wind turbine. That is about as powerful per area compared to that area of solar, but more like twice as powerful. And yeah, that's twice as much power generated. That's not bad. People say they tend to clutter the landscape by being tall pillars of white metal, but you hate tall pillars of white metal. Put a lot of them in Scotland. Then none of you English folk have to be so scared, because you think hating on wind turbines is justified when the wind turbine is actually ensuring that you are off-grid or you are on-grid and your grid is actually safe for the natural environment. English people, fucking hell. They're so conservative and old and stupid. The people of England are so old, conservative and stupid. You could have a few of those wind farms all over the place, have them be onshore, have them be offshore, have them be little blimps in the areas that are not so windy. Yeah, I've made little fires outside in the little outside stove thing, and whenever I light a match, it gets blown out by the wind. And whenever I light something inside of the little stove thing, so I can have a fire outside, nice and warm. And even those artificial paper-covered logs, they can also be blown out by the wind. That's a 30 to an hour and a half paper-covered log that has been blown out by the wind. Britain has infinite wind. The islands of Britain have just fucking infinite wind. The wind turbines will actually be blown to pieces by the wind potential because the wind is fucking retarded. So, the wind, that's an option. Come on. That means the options are solar thermal and the wind. But you realise I said nuclear. And that is the nuclear option of thorium fission. Far superior than uranium, that's not as bad. Considering you can get a cubic centimetre or 11.7 grams of thorium per cubic metre of ground, that cubic metre of ground has all the thorium to power a person for their entire life, 1,000 years. Very precise, that is for a person that uses 150 kilowatts per day for 1,000 years. Meaning thorium is fantastically fucking powerful. So, thorium. Oh. That is assuming 1 part per million. Because South Wales has places, all of South Wales, the lowest ever thorium concentration is 5.9 parts per million. So, you mine like just 1 part per million, then from a cubic kilometre, that'll be a cubic kilometre for a person, for 1 billion people. That means you have 1,000 years worth of energy for 1 billion people, times 5.9, if it's, South Wales, to a max of 49 parts per million. So that means 1 billion people, at least, instead of 800 people, because 0.8 parts per million, can live for 1,000 years. That'd be 800 million people for 1,000 years. Oh, that's the next level. That means Britain could mine a cubic kilometre of its ground, just 1 part per million, and 1 billion people, because it's a cubic kilometre, so 1,000 by 1,000 by 1,000 metres, can live for 1,000 years. At most, even using a few of my older, more outdated calculations that are more of a lowball of the amount of energy in thorium, at least for like 800 years, 80 years. Therefore, the options are solar thermal, the wind, and thorium fission. Oh, and Britain has a history of mining, mainly for thorium, correction, coal. However, if Britain put more of its focus on thorium fission as opposed to coal mining, then Britain could be powered by thorium to the point of actually powering the world. Because, yeah, trying to do the math and a few of my older calculations, a cubic kilometre of ground, that has enough thorium to power the world, all 8 billion humans, for 117 years. They ain't bad. So, Britain can be powered by solar thermal, the wind, and thorium fission. Although as thorium has very little development, even here in Britain, most likely the wind. This nation has fucking infinite wind. Too much wind. Yes, I am very pissed off. I am very pissed. There's a log that can last for 1.5 hours and it's blown out by the wind. That's the wind.